I'm so tired because I only got up like 3 hours ago. It's only 4 o'clock. Hello, and welcome to another edition of my favourite sci-fi films. This is part 3 of my challenge, and this month was all about aliens. I enjoyed this one a bit more because films about aliens usually lead to like more horror type films. And not all of them are scary, but you get more like gore and suspense, and it's just, I don't know, it's a bit more interesting to me. It's more kind of like the films that I like. You can tell that I enjoyed it a bit more because I'm going to be talking about 4 films in this one rather than my usual 3. I've got 2 slightly older ones and 2 more recent ones. I liked these all for different reasons, but I'm going to go from oldest to newest with my favourite at the end. I'm going to start with the most obvious one in a video about aliens. It's Alien. This is such a classic film, and I'd never seen it before, but I'd heard a lot about it. I kind of knew the gist of it. I knew that scene. I always thought, like, I knew what was going to happen. I don't really care about it that much, but I was quite glad that I watched it because it was a lot more like intense and suspenseful, and it's quite claustrophobic. I think that's what puts me off with like films set in space. I feel really like tense because they're all trapped and it just I'm not even claustrophobic. Like, I don't care about being in small spaces, but watching other people in small spaces freaks me out. So maybe I'm empathetically claustrophobic. I don't know. The gore and the horror elements are quite creepy in this, and at times quite distressing. Like with the stomach explosion, that classic moment, I'd never seen what happened straight after. Like, I love practical effects, but that was quite funny. After that really intense scene, you just get this little puppet looking around like, I think because it reminded me of the Labyrinth where they're in the bedroom and all these goblins are like popping out going, ha ha. I did really enjoy this one, and it was quite a surprise to me. So, I don't know, I'm interested to find out what happens in all the other films because I literally know nothing about them. So yeah, they're all going on my list as well. Next up is The Thing. Okay, so I've only put this one in because of the gore and like the horror elements in it. That is literally the only thing that I liked about it. The rest of the film I found quite boring. But like the gore moments are quite comical looking back at it now, but they are also so horrifying and disgusting. Honestly, my reactions to this film were hilarious. I wish I'd recorded them because I was like jumping out of my seat. Some bits just really made me feel so sick. This was like in the days before your mainstream CGI, so you had practical effects and it was there are 2 scenes that really like stick in my brain, like gore wise, that were just horrifying. I'm traumatized. The first one is the dogs where they're all put in their big like pen, and one of the dogs has this like parasite thing in it, and then its face like opens up and it's and all the other dogs are like, F this, I'm out, and they start like chewing through the wires and everything. And I'm sat there like, I was jumping around the room like it was no. But the one that really got me was the one with the man, and that's specific, and it like detaches his head and it like grows legs. Oh my god, I probably would have been all right with it, but it's not just like blood, it's all like pussy and I'm sat there with my snacks like usual, and honestly it put me right off my hummus. No thank you. So yeah, I didn't really like the film that much, but I had to talk about it because those 2 scenes gave me such a reaction, more than any other film that I've ever seen. Next is District 9. This one was really good. It wasn't what I expected it to be at all. It started like a fairly light-hearted mockumentary, and I love a mockumentary. It's giving you the backstory of the aliens and like how they got there and like what their life is like, and the backstory of the main human character too. And it had some really funny moments in it. I think mostly just because I was so surprised. I wasn't expecting it to be like that at all. And like throughout it, it does get a bit heavier and a bit more gory as well. There were some bits where I had to look away. It was another hummus one. Why do I not learn? If I can teach you anything, it's don't eat hummus while watching alien films. I thought this was a really cool concept and I really enjoyed it. But what made it even better is I read that it's kind of based on a true story. Hear me out, because I was the same, like, based on a true story, aliens living in South Africa, what is this? I can't remember the exact story, but it was about like a refugee camp, like loads of people as well, like how many aliens there are in this District 9. It was a really interesting, like, alteration to the story. It's a really powerful statement. Like, look it up if you're interested, because it is so clever. While I was watching the film, I was like looking it up, seeing about it, and that came up, and it just made it so much more interesting for me. It's brilliant. Go and watch that film. Even if you don't like sci-fi, it is a really good film. And finally, Attack the Block. This one's cheating a bit because it's not really part of my sci-fi challenge. I watched this years ago and I absolutely loved it. Again, it's the horror, and also it's really funny. And the cast is fantastic. And this is like John Boyega's first big role. So it's before all the Star Wars and all that. He's so good in this. I think his character's called Moses or something. He's like the leader of the gang. But then you've also got Nick Frost and Jodie Whittaker and Luke Treadaway in it as well. And they're a really great contrast to this group of teenage boys trying to fight these aliens. They're like big black fluffy bear type things, but they don't really have a face. They've just got like big gnashy teeth. I'm terrified of them, but I also think like they might be really cuddly. It's like a lion, you could only cuddle it once. It's such a cool concept for a film. Like, what would happen if aliens tried to take over a South London block of flats? And like how the kids from that area would deal with it. Like, they'd go and bash them up. So yeah, that was my favourite sci-fi films about aliens. Next month, part 4 is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about one film in particular because it's my favourite sci-fi film of all time. And I had to give it its own video. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want more of this. But as always, stay safe and look after yourselves. Bye!